All right, everybody. I just thought I'd start this stream a little bit early. And so, what I'm going to do is I'm going to let this go, and I'm going to come back right at about 6 o'clock. And for those of you who are going to be on this, just know that we are going to drop off here right at 6:30 when the RSBN feed goes away. We're going to go with them, and you can see that link in the description below, and you can just guess where it's going to be. So right now, this is streaming on Facebook and YouTube. And so again, I'm gonna let Mr. Oz here speak, and I'm gonna jump off. And again, I will be back at about 6 o'clock for about a half hour to do the Kyle Selk show briefly, and that's going to be it. I didn't get a chance to do it this morning. There were some real big issues with audio, but we got to straighten out. And so enjoy the speech. And even though I'm not a huge Oz fan, he should be good enough to beat the guy that's trying to run against him. I mean, goodness gracious, this guy is he's a mess. All right, so I'm gonna jump off here, and I'll see you guys in a little bit.
When they would defend teaching 5-year-olds complex ideas about gender, saying the science said it. They said they were following the science, but I'm telling you, as a doctor and a scientist, that's not true. We got to push back on what really our values are, our family values in Pennsylvania. Now, I was curious who was saying these things. You probably are too. And then I met the poster child for the far left radical part of the Democratic Party. His name, John Fetterman. Now, I have challenged Mr. Fetterman to a debate. You've been following all the news on this. I'm empathetic. I'm a doctor. I understand how difficult it is when you've had a stroke. I've asked him to work with us to find out some way for him to answer questions, but he hasn't come forth and wanted to talk about it. And I think for democracy to work, you have to answer questions, right? So we're going to do a little pretend debate. Here's what would happen if I was talking to John Fetterman. I'd ask him, how do you defend wanting to release 1/3 of all prisoners from our jails? I'd ask him, why do you want to legalize all drugs? I'd say, why do you want an open border and sanctuary cities? And he'd probably say something like, it sounded good on Twitter. And I'd say, look what it did to our Commonwealth. In Philadelphia, we have the highest murder rate ever last year, and it's going to be worse this year. We've got people coming across the border, human trafficking, making money for cartels, and that money's being used to buy fentanyl. A man back here, when I was taking pictures earlier, told me this week he buried his 23-year-old nephew. Did I get it right, sir? Well, that's tragic, and it's happening 100,000 times a year, all brought about by these weak policies. So I want to stop the lawlessness. I got the endorsement of the Fraternal Order of Police because I know that and believe we can have safe city streets. I know without any question in my mind, we can have a secure border and allow legal immigration of people who work hard here and serve this great nation. And let me leave you with one idea. I played football in college. The last words I would hear before I ran on the field, the last words we all hear are home of the brave. Why is it brave? Because you can't be free if you're not brave. So I'm going to ask you today to be brave. Our nation needs to be brave, perhaps more than ever. And I want you to start saying what you see. I know it's hard. People don't welcome you sometimes when you say what you see. But I'll start. I think the only thing Joe Biden has built back better is the Republican Party. Do I have it right? So your homework assignment, my request of you, is you go to DrOz.com, See what I talk about all over this Commonwealth. I've done 180 visits in the last two months. I want you to be comfortable with who I am. Share it with 10 of your friends. Do that for the other candidates who are up here. We're going to win big in November, and we're going to do it because all of you. God bless you, Pennsylvania. Thank you.
Oh, yeah. Let's do this. Any free people in the house? Revy and I are so thankful and humbled by your support and by this movement that's going to change the course of history in both Pennsylvania and the United States of America. You know, we the people are pissed, right? I know I am, especially after that ridiculous speech the other day, down at Independence Hall. Old Sleepy Joe came crawling out of his hole without the bunny rabbit. What happened? But you know what? Shapiro, Biden, Wolf, they're all cut of the same cloth, right? And they all need to go. They do. And they will. The Democrats are trying to distract us with their dirty, stinking laundry list of bad ideas. I feel like I'm back. Dan Cox, what's up, brother? Good to see you. Next governor of Maryland right there. Oh, yeah. Love you, brother. Could you imagine how fantastic it's going to be with Governor Cox in Maryland and Governor Mastriano in Pennsylvania? What's up, Clay? Love you guys. One of the areas that Democrats want to distract us with is women's rights. They think they have a corner of women's rights, but we got a story for them, and Robbie's going to tell us a little bit about that. Give it up to the next First Lady.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. So, we love you too. We love you guys. All of you. So, the Democrats, they don't want to talk about the laundry list. It's a laundry list of all that they've been doing to us, right? We the people. But we can't blame them because you can't run on that. So instead, they're deflecting and they're trying to talk about women's rights. And they say we don't believe in women's rights. Well, guess what? Republicans do believe in women's rights. Oh, yeah. We believe in a woman's right to be born.
Right.
We believe in a woman's right to have a say in her child's education. We believe that a woman should have access to baby formula and affordable groceries for her family. We believe that it's a woman's right to raise a child in a safe community where the government enforces the law and prosecutes crime. And is not releasing criminals from jail, right?
That's right.
We believe in a woman's right to live in a nation with a secure border. Oh, yeah. And it's a woman's right to the First Amendment, and it's a woman's right as Pennsylvanians to the Second Amendment. Oh, yeah. And we believe it's a woman's right to compete in sports that's not dominated by men. And you all are more intelligent than the left because you all can identify and understand what a woman is, right? Woo!
Oh, yeah, we're leading the way on women's rights here on the Republican Party side. They don't want to talk about empty grocery store shelves. They don't want to talk about the cities they burned to the ground during the summer of love. They call us the extremists. Are you freaking kidding me? Yeah, they don't want to talk about the businesses they looted. They don't want to talk about the criminals they released. They don't want to talk about how they turned their back on Philadelphia. Their laundry list smells pretty bad. They don't want to talk about racism being taught in our schools. That kids are being taught to hate each other based off their skin tone. They don't want to talk about how they have flagged parents at school boards for simply having a strong opinion, flag them as domestic terrorists. They don't want to talk about the shutdown, the mask mandates, forcing your kids to wear a mask. I call that child abuse. It is. Yep. They don't want to talk about Levine. Neither do I. Levine sent the sick back into homes, killing thousands of our elderly. Found out that was a bad idea and stuck mommy out while our moms and dads were left to die alone. They don't want to talk about Shapiro, who did nothing, who didn't lift a finger to help your loved ones. You know, my opponent has been the attorney general for 6 years, and the guy's a big failure. On his watch, crime has gone up 37%. Murders has doubled. We're the 12th worst homicides in the nation. Fentanyl deaths, number 4 worst in the nation. Shame on him. He ignores the horrors of sex trafficking while he advances his own political fortunes. He wants to roll back 50 years of women achievements in sports by having men dominate girls' teams. That's extreme. Like the elitist that he is, Shapiro's for school choice for himself, but not for us. He's like that guy at Seinfeld, you know, no soup for you, no school choice for you. Shapiro sued to keep your kids masked up. Big time loser. He sued to keep your businesses shut down. He's not a man of the people, he's a man of his party politics. We're going to win by talking about that dirty laundry list and about our vision for Pennsylvania. On day one, we're going to roll back Reggie and drill and dig like there's no tomorrow. Oh, yeah. We're going to do it. Pennsylvania is going to become the #1 wealthiest state in the nation under Mastriano. Yep. On day one, On day one and done. Any mask mandates or COVID jab requirements are done and over forever. Yep. Oh, yeah. That's right. It's going to happen. On day one, no critical race theory anymore in Pennsylvania schools. Yep. On day one. And by the way, that's 17 January next year. See you in Harrisburg. On day one, no boys on the girls' team. Yep. On day one, no boys in the girls' bathrooms. Come on. I'll have the backs of our law enforcement like never before. We're going to be a law and order state. On day one, we're no longer a sanctuary state. While we have veterans living on the streets, while we have elderly losing their homes because of ridiculous property taxes, while we have about 15,000 beautiful young kids waiting for adoption or foster care, we will not play host to any illegals in Pennsylvania. Yep. That's right. So when Sleepy Joe sends those ghost flights up and they land nearby at the airport, we'll have our beautiful Pennsylvania State Police there to greet those buses. And and we'll escort those buses down to Joe Biden's house in Delaware. He can have them. Oh, yeah. It's going to be a new day in PA. We're going to have a new birth of freedom. I saw a poll today. It has us at a dead heat, 43 points each, which means we're probably 4 or 5 points ahead. But Pennsylvania, as Benjamin Franklin said in 1776 in Philadelphia, we either hang together or we hang separately. We're going to hang together, take back our state, and make Pennsylvania the greatest state in the nation. Thank you, and God bless you.
Focus more on something that rarely happens, is like damn near getting struck by lightning, compared to what's happening every day, all the time in our communities. We got little girls getting shot in the head from straight bullets, niggas that don't got no aim.
Fact.
You're telling me that that's not relevant. But you know what happens? We've been killing each other so long that it became normalized. So now it's like, it's not even a big deal, because this is what's supposed to happen, because this is what the commons. When a person from the military dies, you know why it's not a big deal? Because it's expected. People don't make it a big uproar because it's expected. You're in the military. This is what happens, correct? So it's the same concept with black people. Oh, you getting shot by another nigga doesn't mean anything. That's the biggest problem in our community, that we don't have accountability. You know, we want to blame everybody else for what's going on in our life instead of actually ourselves. Because the decision that we decide to make. Even when people say, oh, they brought drugs into the community, well, you had a choice not to sell it.
100% right. Accountability is the one thing the left is not going to talk about, especially when it comes to the black community.
He did go out of his way to send us that video for our audience. He loves Right Side Broadcast Network, and all of you that watch from home. We really want to remind you guys to continue supporting him. The fight's not over, hardly even begun as far as he is concerned. Until the machines are out of every single election in the United States, this man is not going to stop fighting. Please consider supporting him by going to mypillow.com. Truly, I'm a sleepy girl. If you know me, you know I'll sleep anywhere. You can never have enough blankets and pillows and towels, and it's just there's no such thing as too much luxury or a spa-like atmosphere. So if you think you have enough in your house, you don't. Go to mypillow.com. Purchase absolutely everything. They have 3-inch memory foam mattress toppers. They have entire mattress sets. They have duvet covers, duvet inserts, unit pajamas, outfits. I have sweaters, tie-dye sweaters from them. I have pajamas from them, cheetah pajama sets, like head to toe. So cute. All of that with code RSPN, you'll save up to 66% off your entire order. So check out their entire inventory at mypillow.com and mystore.com. This is newer, but they have thousands of products over there similar to Amazon. But these, instead of coming from China, are being made by American entrepreneurs. And he's really just showcasing all of those products. So that's called mystore.com. If you haven't, I encourage you to check that out. He sells his coffee, his My Coffee, over at mystore.com. It is good. I wish I had some right now. Promo code RSPN works there as well for massive savings.
And I brought this up earlier, Liz. If you have someone going off to college, now is the time to
All right.
go on the-
So I'm just going to play a couple of clips here that I have set up. I don't know how sensitive YouTube is going to be about promotional ads and not declaring those. It's a real, it's a big, it's really, really interesting what they're doing to shut down feeds. So, you know, obviously support, you know, My Pillow, obviously, but I'm going to play some clips here, and we'll be back when the next speaker comes on. So hang loose. In fact, we really aren't supposed to get started till about 6. So hang tight, everybody.
So definitely use that promo code checkout and get the coffee too. If you're a coffee drinker, you have someone in your life, get the coffee drink. Get the My Coffee rather. Put the promo code RSPN. That's mypillow.com. All right.
Really teaching conservatism 101 that's really what part 1 is. It's like you're learning what conservative values are. You're learning what patriotism is. The vehicle is just black conservatives, right? Going into part 2, it's a much darker film because we're not on the personal stories and the personal anecdotes anymore. We're really getting to the history and to the root of this ideology and these racial tensions that have ripped our country apart.
Time in the not so distant past where we had things called variety shows. You know, shows like the Carol Burnett Show, the Flip Wilson Show, the Dick Van Dyke. Okay, well, never mind that. But what they were shows that showed a variety of content, sort of like what we have here at the Conservative Take. We have a variety of content such as the Marty Chronicles, which is Marty Nalitz, which is a guy who's been doing this for a long time. No offense, Marty, but you are really experienced, and he gives a more matter-of-fact sense to current events as they happen and a more analytical approach. And then we have Nicole Kaufman, who is our right therapist, who is a clinical therapist, who gives us the skinny on the woke culture that's coming on around us and the actual technical reasons why people are acting so, well, whatever. And so, but again, that is the disclaimer there. We don't have licensed therapy, so just remember that. Also, we have content like on my show, The Kyle Suggs Show, which I will do, which live streams, all kind of cool stuff. We have that live Friday night show with, sometimes I hook up with a person by the name of Kira Bowlby. She is a young person, has cool ideas, and we are sponsored by Red Liberty Media, which I happen to be a contributor to as well. And of course, I can't forget Jackie, who co-pilots with me on many spontaneous live streams. And so with that, we have other things as well, like we do in terms of the culture, and it's all about pop culture and politics and making sure that we can put those together, because engaging the culture through politics is what it's all about. In fact, we do political things like predictions for elections, midterms, live streams regarding that. We do movie reviews involving pop culture in general and how that affects our lives.
And already people are posting their reaction to the film. Here's one.
Uncle Tom, normally a derogatory term pointed at black conservatives, is now a feature-length film. And also we do things such as exposés, where we take news and we put it into a documentary style setting. So what I recommend is, if you like what we do and like one aspect of it, take a look at our playlists. They're all broken out individually, so you can subscribe to those as well, or just subscribe to everything and you get it all. And again, this is a YouTube video, so we can't tell you everything we do, but if you want to know more, go to our website at theconservativetake.com. Much more content out there available as well. we're on Discord and other areas too that you can engage as well. So thank you for listening. And next time when you hear us say taking pop culture and politics and filtering to your rights, you have an inkling of what we're talking about. Oh, sorry, I think I dropped something on my shirt. Anyway.
Voters. So that's going to be really interesting to see the state of Florida and how that plays out in midterms. But yes, for Miami right now, for a lot of Hispanics right now, they are making it loud and clear that they do not support Biden's agenda.
Yeah, and I'll look back this past week, Liz. As you know, I was in California with Marjorie Taylor Greene, working on some project stuff that you'll see later. And what we witnessed firsthand, Liz, the destruction of that state. I lived out there years ago, and it was a beautiful state when I did. But the policies now that are in place are absolutely ridiculous. And the fact that I've seen, and this is a true statement, within about 60 seconds, I saw a guy smoking crack on a park bench, and he had a little hole drilled into a Coke can, smoking crack. We turned the corner.
How do you know if it's crack or like pot?
Okay, this video won't be monetized.
Even if it was pot, here's the deal, and I've got a take on that. We turned the corner. There's a guy that was stealing copper wire from a construction site, and then go down from that, a guy was, defecating on the sidewalk. But across the street, the police was giving a guy a parking ticket. A parking ticket. All this is going on right in front of a police officer. They have lost control of that state. But guess what? It's not going to end anytime soon because we're not voting those people out of office.
What clown world do we live?
I don't know.
We live in where you're less likely to get in trouble for smoking crack on a city street than you are for going over your parking meter by 15 minutes.
Yeah, and I was talking to an Uber driver just the other day.
All right, I'm going to talk over this stream right now simply because you can go over to RSBN and see it full time. But, I just want to be respectful to them and actually add value instead of just copying off what they're doing. Right Side Broadcasting has done a fantastic job of the past, I guess, 6 years, and they're wonderful. So, but just to add my input here, the whole deal with this election, it's going to come down to turnout, and particularly with Pennsylvania, strange because you have a guy like Oz who I would never have voted for. And then you have another guy, this Fetterman dude. I mean, he's out of control and his stances on everything is pretty much as left as you can get. It's something like he just, like the guy said, the speaker, I think that was Mastriano, maybe Mastriano. Essentially, he got it off of Twitter and the talking points and trying to make it into a policy that's going to work for a huge state, which is diverse, all the way from Pittsburgh all the way over to Philadelphia. And of course, you have the mining areas, the steel workers. it's just ridiculous to have someone like him represent a state like Pennsylvania. But the problem is with Oz, is he conservative enough to bring in the base and the quantity we need to overcome the factor that I can't say here on YouTube? If you look at what happened with Carrie Lake out in Arizona, my gracious, we were up till 3:00 in the morning watching that thing go down, and she was down most of the night. 40,000 votes at the beginning around 8:00, made that up and ended up winning by about 2%, even though she had been called in terms of the polling to win by at least 7 conservatively. So anyway, let's get back to the feed, and I will get back here officially at about 6, and so far so good.
But
give people
that's
money
what
if
you
you
have.
want, but I would do it through incentivizing work programs. If you make X amount of sales, if you have such a great week, I mean, you want people to work in your country. How do they think this is going to continue to be successful?
Yeah.
What a crap show that we're living in.
Yeah.
If you're watching, if you're a kid that's watching, a lot of people come up to me and they want to know, how'd you get involved in politics, or how are you successful? If you want to call myself that, I would say the number one thing I did is I always worked. I didn't care if it was selling dresses for minimum wage in high school, working behind at a gym, checking people in for minimum wage in college. I took every single job that I possibly could. And again, when it came to RSBN, before we could even offer people anything to go out and cover these rallies, I was so excited to get out and cover these rallies because I loved working. It gave me a sense of purpose. It gave me passion. It gave me a reason to live. I love working. And I'm so thankful that my parents instilled that inside me and all of my siblings. And I really hope that you're able to take that in, because it's very important. That is how you're going to be successful. You just have to have that drive.
And when you look at like the foreclosures that is coming up and people getting evicted and people's power getting shut off, I saw a stat the other day that said 1 in 3 people renting right now will have a difficulty paying the rent come September 1, which we just passed. So you're having a record number of people that are struggling just to make ends meet. And so you throw all this on top of it. You throw the doom and gloom with Joe Biden and the economy. And it's a tough time to be to right now. There's a very tough time in this country.
If you have a lot of savings ready to go, then you're not prepared for this increase in inflation.
People
right
say
now.
what you're 60 days from being 2 paychecks away from being broke, and you're 9 meals away from going hungry. I mean, with the food crisis that we have, and it's just going to get worse if we do not crawl out from beyond these Biden policies.
Now's a good time to put that work ethic in full force. Go out. Honestly, I encourage you to get as many jobs as you can right now and save up. Be smart with your money, protect your money, and just, now is the time to really prepare, because I don't know what's to come, but it's not looking good.
Yeah.
It looks like the housing market, and good for me, maybe I'll be able to buy a house one day, but it looks like it's about to bust, because that was quite an insane bubble that we lived in many years.
Just needs to get a little bit more realistic in certain markets.
We still can't get the chips for vehicles that are being created overseas right now. There's still a shortage on that. And that's allowing cars to go over 10% above MSRP, which makes it really out of reach for the majority of Americans. So we're looking at cars, we're looking at the housing market, groceries, clothing, you name it.
Do you remember the shipping container crisis we had last summer?
Yeah.
Flying out of Los Angeles the other day as we were taking off and kind of hooking down to the south, you can see out through Long Beach and the port of Los Angeles. They're still there.
Well, they're still there.
They're still there.
And I believe it was Zero Hedge. She had a report last week, and I don't remember what these numbers are called, but basically, if you look at the numbers during the COVID pandemic and how likely factories were to want to ship stuff overseas, it was very low. Right now, we are at the exact same percentage point as we were during the middle of the COVID crisis. They don't want to send their stuff overseas right now. That means America, we're going to see these effects, not immediately, but in the next few months, when we realize we don't have these products, they didn't want to send them. They don't want to send them because of how expensive it is and how long it takes to get here. It's not worth it for them to lose their products like that. In a few short months, not only are we going to have this housing market collapse, we're also going to see this bubble and this lack of products being made coming to our shores. It's going to be very tough. So again, protect yourself.
If you need a washer and dryer next
How's it
year.
not?
Be prepared. Yeah, well, if you're going to be paying a premium for it, if you're not paying a premium for it already. Les Willis, Brian Glenn joining you live here in Pennsylvania, beautiful Pennsylvania, waiting for President Trump to take the stage. A quick check of the local time here. We're sitting at 5:50 now. It is set to start here at 7. And you know what? I'm kind of feeling confident tonight that it will go off at 7 o'clock. He'll take the stage. It may be a few minutes after that, but nevertheless, it will happen. But we're so glad you're joining us. We got Matthew Alvarez as well. Local journalist we'll bring in here in a little bit to kind of give his perspective on Pennsylvania, but so much at stake coming up as we move into November 8th of this year, the primaries. This is when it's at. That's when you've heard compelling reasons why we need to elect Doug Mastriano, Dr. Oz, and others. And as Carrie Lake, as MTG said, go down the list and just vote all Republican.
I generally do that anyways, I'm not going to lie. But I do really like to go in there and know it's a lot. It's better on the, say, midterms or presidential. Primaries are difficult because there's so many names and there's so many Republicans. So I really study for that one. I want to know exactly who everyone is. Now, of course, when it does come to something like a primary at this point, I have absolutely zero respect for anybody that has a D next to their name. Immediately done. Don't even look at me. I don't even want them on my ballot. I hope that I just get a Republican ballot and I don't have to worry about that nonsense.
And what's also important is to look at the city council races in your area, look at the school board races. There's been several examples of conservatives taking over school boards and running for open positions and people that might be retiring. That's where it's at, Liz, because you think about what affects your everyday life. It is school. It's local. I mean, yes, national politics does affect your life, but it's your local and your own backyard that directly affects your kids and your pocketbook.
Kids are like sponges, and that's something you deal with every single day. They're going to come home and they notice those effects immediately. It's not like a federal policy that might take months or years to come into place. What happens at those PTA meetings is talked about the next day. It goes into effect the next day. So it is so important. Stay involved in your children's schools. Make sure you know what they're being taught. Check out the library. See what books they have for rent, because you never know nowadays.
Yeah. Now, we had this earlier, and I don't know if we have the graphic ready on the screen. I just want to talk about it. Is that Mike Huckabee put out? I mean, my goodness. Can you imagine?
Now I know for a fact that song is going to be a strike, so I'm gonna pull that down a little bit. I think that's what band is that? In the 80s. Oh gosh, it's not Men at Work. What is the other one? Oh man. Hold on, let's hear it.
Mike Huckabee has put together, and it's a cute book, Liz. It's got some great illustrations. It looks like we've had some really artistic fifth graders.
Walk of Life.
Draw
What is
this
that,
book
guys?
out.
Come on, guys.
But what a great gift that
Let me
does,
just
because
look
we
it up.
must educate,
Walk of
our
Life, Walk of
youth
Life.
on just how
Oh, well.
successful.
Right now, you can see it with this sold out arena tonight. You see it every single day on social media. You see it with his policies that are still working. His policies and him still working and fighting for the American people. I got some numbers that I mentioned earlier, but I believe it was 20. Joe Biden has spent the last 29 out of 32 days on vacation. He's on vacation again.
That's what he's doing. That's what he's doing. And you know what? When he walked back parts of that speech the other night, I don't think he clearly even know what he read on the teleprompter.
He didn't know what the speech was.
He didn't write it. That's probably the first time he's ever read it, and he certainly doesn't remember it. So when he walks stuff back, you can't believe anything out of that guy's mouth at all. And
I don't think he means to be awful.
He just doesn't know any better.
I don't think he knows what's happening. I think he's so out of it and delusional. I'm not even trying to be funny. My heart breaks. I'm very empathetic towards people, and I look at him and my heart hurts.
Yeah.
Because he needs to be at home, sitting somewhere. He can put his toes in the sand. I don't care. I hope he's relaxed. I hope everyone is. This man is not in the right state of mind, and somebody's abusing him mentally and physically. He has no business.
Well, he needs to be impeached, and MTG has already introduced articles to impeach Joe Biden. It needs to happen. He has absolutely destroyed this country. Even if you try to go to impeachment on what he's done to the southern border and the abuse of the southern border, of having all of these illegals come into this country causing all kinds of problems.
Well, then
A lot
that's
of
just
people-
as bad as we've got the border czar. Where is Kamala Harris?
Yeah.
I haven't heard anything from the vice president who is in charge of the southern border. I haven't heard anything right. Also, so I have no idea where Kamala Harris is. And one of my biggest issues right now in the administration, I'll mention it a few more times, but this Karen Jean-Pierre woman, absolutely god-awful. She is a liar. Everything that comes out of her mouth is the complete opposite of the truth about what's going on in our nation.
Yeah.
She is actively telling people that our southern border is secure. She is telling people that the election had no problems, and she does so proudly. And like,
She is
Ooh.
straight up lying to the
really
American
making me
people.
mad right now.
You know, and
thinking
you got
how
Peter
dumb do you
Ducey.
think we are?
Well, you got Peter Ducey in there that's challenged her. God bless Peter
Thank
Ducey.
God.
He's actually challenging her every day, and what you got to love, because that is one thing she
And she
needs.
kind of laughs at him.
She
Little
dismisses.
does she know, I mean, he's speaking
Yeah.
on behalf of 81 million people. We're
Yeah.
all sitting there here asking the same questions that only he has the, I'm not going to use the word, but only he has, let's see, the courage to ask in
Yeah.
that press briefing.
There you go. All right, I do want to talk about our partners. One of our partners for the day, the Birch Gold Group. Now, when it comes to your retirement, when it comes to savings, it's hard to do in such a shaky environment with the inflation.
All right, everybody. I'm going to jump in here. When you start doing commercials, I'm going to go ahead and jump in and do some branding here on my own. So, first of all, thank you so much for hanging out with me. Let me put my face up here real quick. Wow, it's 5:57. We need to get started anyway. All right, so here's what's going to happen, guys. Is I'm going to kick the feed off the countdown right about now, and then I'm going to get into the segment. And I'm probably just going to just cut the actual feed from RSBN so I won't be distracted, or at least the audio. And then if I see anything come up, I would just jump in. But I'm not really going to do anything formalized. But I do want to show one clip that I saw that's pretty interesting. I also want to do another clip that deals with, oh boy, oh man, what's going on? You know what I'm talking about, the speech. And until I'm on the next segment at 6:30, I really won't want to say, because YouTube is so flaky. But yeah. Anyway, so let's just do that. And that clip I want to show, I mashed it up. It came over from Breitbart, really good. And that's only be about it, about half hour. The reason why I'm cutting it short is because RSBN is cutting their feed off at 6:30, and I don't want to be out of step with them because they may know something from a legal standpoint that I don't know. So anyway, that's what we're gonna do. I am talking way too much. I did promise to show myself, and I will. Right? Nope, wrong mouse. Hold on. All right, so I'll see you guys in a few. I'm gonna count it down, and thank you, and welcome to the pre-show. We're kicking off in a minute. right, everybody. Welcome to the Kyle Suggs Show. This is the live edition. And what I'm going to do here essentially is talk you through the next 30 minutes. As you see below here, the stream will end on Facebook and on YouTube at 6:30. But there's a link in the description on both of those sites that have it where we're going. Obviously, I think you know where we're going. And so with that, we're here because President Trump is going to be speaking, well, somewhere in between 7 o'clock. I give him a few after that. Where he'll speak, and then I'll play the whole thing without talking, and I'll react to it for a brief bit. But the key thing about it is that Pennsylvania is such a key state for the Republicans to win. You have Doug Mastriano, who is running, and he was a big proponent after the election last time. And he was trying to basically lead the way in getting the Constitution and the state legislators on board on doing their plenary authority and duty to make sure things were done right. And we know how things ended up. So that's why he needs to be elected. And of course, we have Oz, who wouldn't be my first choice, but he's a whole lot better than the guy who's trying to run against him. And so that's what I want to talk about a little bit. And if I had Marty on here from the Marty Chronicles, who actually lives in Pennsylvania, he could talk more about this. But right now, I'm going to show one clip because I want to go back to what happened with the speech from Joe Biden. So take a look at this clip here. This came from Breitbart. I'm going to cue it up and let you guys and check it out.
From the MAGA Republicans represent an extremism that threatens the very foundations of our republic. MAGA Republicans do not respect the Constitution. They do not believe in the rule of law. They do not recognize the will of the people. And they fan the flames of political violence that are a threat to our personal rights, to the pursuit of justice, to the rule of law, to the very soul of this country. They embrace anger. They thrive on chaos. The willingness to engage in political violence is fatal to democracy. More and more talk about violence as an acceptable political tool in this country. There is no place for political violence in America, period. None, ever.
All right. That is just spot on. I mean, Breitbart put that together beautifully. The fact is, everything that he accused the Republicans, we call MAGA Republicans, the ultra MAGA Republicans, whatever you want to call it, it changes every week, is what they do, what they've done, verbatim. And you look at this rally right here, these pictures right here. I mean, you couldn't get this many leftists in a room together peacefully. They would be complaining about something because they don't have an umbrella really to go under. All they know is they don't like America, but whatever reason it is, it's who knows. But when it comes to a rally with, and I wouldn't even say Trump supporters. I mean, you have people who in this audience here who, especially in Pennsylvania, who are probably the blue dog Democrats, may have never voted for a Republican in their life or in generations, but now are seeing how far we've come as a country and just say, you know what, we're going to come to this rally, we're going to support it and see what's about, and ultimately vote for the Republican ticket. And that's what's going to happen. And so that's what's happening when President Trump and I think he did this on purpose, or he picked up on it quickly. When he found out that they hated him so much, I mean, from day one, when President Trump was even before he's even sworn in, I think he was the president-elect. And within the first week, the press attacked him because he went to dinner with his family with not giving a press statement or letting the media know what he was doing. It was like a huge deal for these people. I mean, do you remember the ice cream scoops, the pettiness that they were doing? So you knew if they were going to come at him for ice cream scoops and going out with his family the week of his inauguration, week of his, either he got elected or after he got inaugurated, one or the other, I can't remember, but it was really early. Then you know it was going to be a long road. But despite all of that, he had a tremendous amount of accomplishments in 4 years. If you go back and look at what President Trump did in his 4 years, I would say, and I would challenge anybody to come up with a president, well, maybe Lincoln, of course, but aside from Lincoln, to James Polk. Okay, James Polk. Show me someone who did more in 4 years than Polk. Okay, and obviously Lincoln, it's a different ballgame altogether. But in terms of policy, in terms of things accomplished, I think even Polk got more done than Lincoln if you just line them up and number them up. He did so much. And Trump is in that same mold. Absolutely. And so my point is, everything that he's been through, being impeached twice, from anywhere from ice cream scoops all the way to Russiagate, and everything in between, every day, every week, and to accomplish what he did, and to have the wherewithal and the mental stability and the ability to continue to campaign like what he did in 2020 relentlessly. His work schedule is epic, is legendary, is something to behold. And the current media, the current establishment, everyone else doesn't want to acknowledge any of that. And they wonder why people pack in places like this to see him and to hear him speak and gravitate towards him. That's one reason. Another reason I would say is because people who have been supporting Trump from the very beginning, like myself, from the very first debate, when they asked him to raise your hand if you weren't going to get behind the nominee guarantee, he didn't do it. Everyone else did. When you saw him do that, he went against the envelope immediately. For people like me who've been with Trump from the very beginning, we've been battle tested. We've been through so much. Even before he got elected, just getting the nomination was an uphill climb. You remember that? And we had to take down the Jeb Bush, and ultimately it went to Cruz, and with Carson, he took him down, but he had to delicately do it because everybody loves Carson. But he got him with the whole belt thing. But he took him down one by one and got the nomination. And then even before that, when he got the nomination, they were trying to undermine the convention by trying to do a delegates thing, a split convention, similar to what happened to Lincoln when he won on the third ballot, something like that. But it didn't work. He brought in Manafort. He managed that whole process, and they made it through. And the rest is memorable history. But many of us just forget the whole Iowa caucus, New Hampshire, South Carolina, Super Tuesday, all of that stuff that was going down was incredible. And he went through all of that and had a fantastic 4 years. So I'm gonna bring up another clip here, and I'm gonna take a break here because they're talking here. You guys may want to hear this, but I do want to at least show you this clip. Let me pull this up and let you take a look at it. Now, actually, you know what? This is interesting because I have not seen this clip yet. It's been passed around a bunch. Who posted this? I can't remember his name, but he posted on Truth Social. and I got another person send this to my inbox on Facebook. So I hope it's good. I may have to pull the plug if it gets crazy, but I think it's going to be decent. So let's check it out. It's about 5 minutes long. I'm having some problems sharing it. I should have tested this first. Let me try it again. It may be because the format of the video. Anyway, it's the video is I believe the guy is from Africa, and the topic, or this, I guess the title of the video is "Dear Mr. President," talking to Joe Biden. I'm trying to play it again. It may not work. If it doesn't, oh well. Because using StreamYard, they don't like certain formats. Let me see. MP4, you should take this. Let's try it again. It's not going to work. Oh, well. Anyway, so it doesn't matter. But so what I'm going to do, I'm going to play the audio here, and I'm going to come back here after a few minutes. See you in a little bit.
In this country, so we must get rid of the machines, and I'll probably imagine most of the people watching us right now would agree with that. Smaller precincts. In other words, let's count the votes on a smaller level rather than sending them to one singular location and attempting to count hundreds of thousands of votes. Let's count thousands of votes in smaller precincts, get those totals, and send them in.
Yeah, and then
it's simple.
And then lower these mail-in ballots.
Well, lower. Yeah, let's not just mass mail out ballots to everyone. Absentee ballot, in other words.
Right.
The drop boxes absolutely have to go. The drop boxes, there's no place for that. There's too much fraud.
Yeah, and all the videos that we saw over the election.
2,000 mules.
People putting, taking votes from under the table. And all that.
Yeah. And also with the 2,000 mules, and, if you guys watch that documentary, you'll see that basically that was abused heavily. And they used cell phone technology to track these mules, knowing that these same people are just bouncing from box to box, dumping in ballots, which, by the way, is illegal. You can't do that. You can't drop off someone else's ballot unless you just can't do it. And ballot harvesting, they would go around to nursing homes, people that traditionally have never voted, getting them to vote.
Let's talk about that a little bit. I'm going to let them do the little thing here of the 2,000 Mules. If you get a chance, go over to Rumble and check out my review on 2,000 Mules. I was livid when I first saw that film. And within the last 24 hours, I believe Wisconsin has, I think several cities, but I think Green Bay, if I'm wrong, comment below, has basically said you can't do the drop-off ballots. The whole thing with the drop-off ballots is just ridiculous. It would, I don't even want to get into that, and this whole thing with Pennsylvania and Georgia and Wisconsin and Arizona, and to a lesser extent, North Carolina, to a lesser extent, Florida, and Michigan, all of those states that I just named, at the time of the election of 2020, every last one of those states had a majority in both the state house and state senate, a Republican majority. And no matter what you want to say about everything else, there are checks and balances in our system. Our Republicans let us down. Simple as that, which is why I am so much of a fan for the guy here in Pennsylvania running, Mastriano. I believe that's how you pronounce his name. So, well, they're having fun here, aren't they? Cool. All right, so let me get back to that. I just want to speak on that because YouTube doesn't like talking about that film for obvious reasons. It's just a crazy world we live in. But let's get back to it.
Get in the middle here. Well, I'll let you open it up. Okay, I want you to walk us through this. What was your first impression of the packaging?
I almost cried because this is the cutest thing I've ever seen. And someone that advocates for this type of thing, you'll understand what I'm talking about in a minute. It's adorable. Where do I get this?
Yeah. Okay. Well, I want you to open it up.
I'm asking for myself. Where do I get this?
This is
Ready?
incredible. Let's open it up. So this is what it was sent to us. I want to make sure I have all the information.
I don't want anything to break.
The website is magapancakes.com. That's magapancakes.com. And let's open it up and take it out. This is what we have, folks. You can maybe hold that down.
This is the cutie pie that made me cry. This is the cutest little pancake pour bowl I've ever seen in my life, and I have to have it.
Okay.
Look at that.
If you ever thought about making pancakes in the shape of President Donald J. Trump with an American flag.
Okay. Those of you guys who know me know that I love pancakes. And about 15 years ago, I was actually in the process of actually trying to come up with a formula and sell it, whether it be online or in stores or distribute it any way possible. And so it never came to fruition. I couldn't get it cheap enough. I couldn't find buttermilk cheap enough. I couldn't find other things, but I had the recipe down and it's solid. And so when Cousin T, I think Terrence Williams, I believe, he came up with his pancakes called Cousin T's pancakes right after Ancient Mama got kicked to the curb. And I said, well, that's cool. So I bought a couple of boxes of that. I was going to do a video reaction of it, but it didn't turn out very well. The video was horrible, so I didn't do it. But now that I see this, I'm thinking that I might need to buy this and then do a double product thing here. I think that'd be pretty hot. So, yeah, but I don't know how to make pancakes in that though. If that's not, it's got to be a stick. It looks like it's going to stick to that. We'll see. That's going to be a big pancake though. In order for you to get that, yeah, you're going to have to make that huge. I don't know. Whatever. Well, I have to flip it my normal way. So, oh, y'all didn't know that I'm not even on camera. Well, here I am. Cool. So anyway, so that's that. So let's get back to it. And by the way, if you guys comment below, I will respond in kind. And also, if you don't want your comments showing up, let me know in the chat or put an asterisk by it and I won't show up on the screen. And okay, so we have about 8 more minutes left and we're going to go off to the next format. And see you guys. Be back in a little bit.
The wire. So this has like hemp all the way through, and you open it up by pulling the hemp. Very unusual. Amazon would never know how to do that.
I just noticed something else here, right, guys? Take a look at this. See if we can, James. It says MAGA on the handle.
Awesome.
MAGA on the handle. James got a good shot of that. I love it. That's the detail of this cast iron skillet.
That's awesome.
I would just leave it on my stove. Look, and I have a beautiful like stainless steel all that kitchen in my apartment. This is a work of art. It would be right next to my teapot.
Yeah, I love it.
That's
so
awesome.
We're gonna have to do rock, paper, scissors. Who walks away with it? Actually,
Texting Finn immediately.
I think we know who gets it.
MAGA pancakes.
Number. I'm getting one of these regardless.
MAGApancakes.com. MAGApancakes.com. That is what is in the box. But by the way, it had beautiful black gift wrapping around it, and that's the way they deliver it to you. By the way.
So there you go. You'll see RSBN. They're killing the feed in about 8 minutes. And that will be our cue as well to jump off. So if you're watching this on YouTube, then yeah, or Facebook for that matter, it will be moving over to the other site. In fact, it's playing there right now. But let me verify to make sure it is working over there. Let's do that. Because one time it didn't continue playing. All right, so yeah, we're still over there live. Awesome. So in a few, we'll be over there.
Mom.
Well, that is yours then. You're taking that
I'm
home.
not saying that because I want the pancake thing.
No, you just got it. You won.
You won. And I feel like a good pancake mix, you don't even like need syrup. You always need butter, but I'll just eat them like right out
Well,
of the
they've got the protein pancakes you can buy too. So-
Kodak.
that's it.
Cakes,
So
yeah.
if you want a source of protein, that's it. I put a ton of butter on mine, by the way.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's really good butter. Americans like have crap butter.
it's like
You know,
processed.
you want, like, French
yeah.
salted butter. You want that real
Yeah,
good stuff
yeah.
that you could just eat raw, like or on a baguette.
Well, my initial idea for this segment was to make pancakes on the set,
Guys,
but
come on,
because
I'm
we're
hungry.
inside, I didn't want to smoke up the
You could've
set.
done it.
I know, but if I would have
You were
burned the
telling me waffle maker. I didn't know it was a pancake pan.
pancake pan,
Huge difference.
I could have done but I'm just so glad that we're here. I know I should have got a burner for that. Much better.
I'm not this passionate about waffles.
Yeah.
I'm just not.
Yeah. Well, you've got your thing, MAGA pancakes. I'm real curious to see what his website's doing right now.
I know it's going up.
It's
up.
All right, so they're just kind of talking about pancakes there, nothing really of substance, which is cool. We're waiting for President Trump to come on, and if you're just joining us, this is supposed to be the Kyle Suggs show. It kind of went awry there when I get that last video to work, so I got to fill time. But we're here waiting for President Trump to speak. Supposed to be speaking at 7:00. At 6:30, we're going to drop his feeds. You see the clock there at 6 minutes. We're going to jump off there. And so in the meantime, I am just going to answer any questions that come up. And we have one comment here I'm going to put on here. Ann Mountain, thank you for coming. I'm going to put it up here on the screen. Thanks for streaming. Keep the pancake dream alive. I bet in the second term, more affordable ingredients will be available. Yeah. I wouldn't hold my breath on that. I'm pretty sure she's kidding. Unfortunately, supply chain is having some serious issues. And if you haven't noticed by now, then unfortunately, you will. So, and if you just talk to a local farmer, don't take my word for it. Talk to a local farmer or talk to a trucker. That's all you got to do. Talk to them, and they'll tell you everything that's going on right now. And yeah, it's not cool. Oh, you mean Trump's second term? Yes, of course. Yes. I'm sorry. We'll see if we get trolls on here. So I'm going to assume you're talking about Trump. So yeah, in the second term, absolutely, we will. Yeah, it'll be straight because he uses the force of his will. He uses business knowledge. He uses leverage. He uses all those things to, make things happen. And you saw that even before he was inaugurated, he was getting deals with companies coming back into this country, business to come back into this country, such as well, I don't remember any specifically, but repatriated monies coming back in. It was just an amazing thing to see happen. In fact, I meant to mention this before. I have a link that I'm going to put in the description of Trump's accomplishments of what he's done in 4 years. And I dare you to go against another president, even Lincoln for that matter, in terms of number of items, not the magnitude of items. I think Lincoln has everyone beat for that matter. Maybe not Washington. Those are two. You can argue on those two. But yeah, James Polk and Trump, those are the upper echelon in terms of getting stuff done in a minimal amount of time. And see, James Polk knew he was only going to get 4 years. That's the thing. So he was forced to actually push the envelope because he didn't have a party, and so he kind of had incentive. Where Trump, yeah, I'm gonna get reelected. Yeah, duh. It didn't happen, but he still got things done to that level. So anyway, yes, and I'm sorry for even putting that on you. I'm sorry. When I see a new person come on the chat, the first thing I think is troll, only because that's the world we live in. And because I know people who come on our stream, I know just about everybody for the most part. And so that's what I was thinking. So anyway, so Sunshine Happy Lady, I apologize for that, by the way, Ann. Okay. And Sunshine Lady, awesome. You're awesome. He said peace is the prize. He wants. Yeah. Yep. Yep. Absolutely. So, okay. So what's the fee here? 2 minutes left. All right. So with that being said, guys, I'm going to go and start the countdown. And I will see you guys over on Rumble. And the link is actually in the description. If you go to, actually, there should be a link on YouTube right above that has a Rumble link. If not, just go over to Rumble and type in The Conservative Take, or go into the description, click on the link, and then there'll be a link in our website there. So, all right. So there's no more comments here, and I'm going to drop off, and I will see you guys in a few.
Donations, 25 cents, $25, whatever it's been. There were times where we were scraping by the pennies, and we will never forget those moments that you guys, you knew about it. We were very open and honest and transparent, and we'd say, hey, we literally need $3,000 to cover the next rally, and we would do it for $3,000. But because of your donations, we were able to do that. We've saved some, and we've brought on some advertisers, and we're able to do this. And I can promise you, you don't have to worry about a single rally coverage between now and November 8th, because RSBN is so thankful for you, and we can promise you we'll be at every single one. But we do still need your help, and hopefully we've got a lot more going on after November 8th. So let's make sure that we are stocked up, prepared, and ready to finish this fight and win this war.
Yeah. Okay, we're about a minute and a half away from taking a quick commercial break. We're going to make that Rumble transition. And then we come back from the commercial break. We'll be back here live. There's a dance party going on right now behind us as they're getting ready for President Trump. I would imagine he might be probably here, I would think, by now, because that's about right. So we'll take a quick commercial break, do our Rumble transition, come back, do some business, and hopefully the 45th president and the 47th president of the United States will take the stage here as we are live here in Pennsylvania.
There was a time in the not so distant past where we had things called variety shows. You know, shows like the Carol Burnett Show, the Flip Wilson Show, the Dick Van Dyke. Okay, well, never mind that. But what they were was shows that showed a variety of content, sort of like what we have here at the Conservative Take. We have a variety of content such as the Marty Chronicles, which is Marty Nalitz, which is a guy who's been doing this for a long time. No offense, Marty, but you are really experienced, and he gives a more matter-of-fact sense to current events as they happen and a more analytical approach. And then we have Nicole Kaufman, who is our right therapist, who is a clinical therapist, who gives us the skinny on the woke culture that's coming on around us and the actual technical reasons why people are acting so, well, you know, whatever. And so, but again, that is the disclaimer there. We don't have licensed therapy, so just remember that. Also, we have content like on my show, The Kyle Suggs Show, which I will do, which live streams, all kind of cool stuff. We have that live Friday night show with, sometimes I hook up with a person by the name of Kira Bowlby. She is a young person, has cool ideas, and we are sponsored by Red Liberty Media, which I happen to be a contributor to as well. And of course, I can't forget Jackie, who co-pilots with me on many spontaneous live streams. And so with that, we have other things as well, like we do in terms of the culture. And it's all about pop culture and politics and making sure that we can put those together, because engaging the culture through politics is what it's all about. In fact, we do political things like predictions for elections, midterms, live streams regarding that. We do movie reviews involving pop culture in general and how that affects our lives.
And already people are posting their reaction to the film. Here's one.
Uncle Tom, normally a derogatory term pointed at Black conservatives, is now a feature-length film. And also we do things such as exposés, where we take news and we put it into a documentary style setting. So what I recommend is, if you like what we do and like what aspect of it, take a look at our playlists. They're all broken out individually, so you can subscribe to those as well, or just subscribe to everything and you get it all. And again, this is a YouTube video, so we can't tell you everything we do, but if you want to know more, go to our website at theconservativetake.com. Much more content out there available as well. We're on Discord and other areas too that you can engage as well. So thank you for listening. And next time when you hear us say taking pop culture and politics and filtering to your right, you have an inkling of what we're talking about. Oh, sorry, I think I dropped something on my shirt. Anyway,